All right, now what about the authentication? Well, let's take a look at the basic flow. As you learned in this section, when building an application with Angular on the client and ASP.NET on the server, our client is purely responsible for routing and rendering of the views, and our server is purely responsible for APIs. So, we need to build a login form with Angular, and when the user clicks the login button, we're going to call an API on the server. So, we're going to send a post request to an endpoint like /auth/login. There, we need to validate the user's credentials, and if they're valid, we need to return a JSON Web Token to the client. We store this JSON Web Token in local storage, and then in subsequent requests, we're going to send it to the server in the request header. So if we're going to call our patient's endpoint, in the request header, we're going to add the authentication header, and we'll set that to bearer and then put the JSON Web Token there. This is the basic flow. Now, you can imagine that building all this infrastructure is pretty tedious, and you don't want to do this in every application. You don't want to build a login form in every application. You don't want to deal with generation of secure JSON Web Tokens. You don't want to validate them. You don't want to ensure they're not expired. There is a lot of work. That's why I recommend you to use Auth0 to add authentication to your applications. And by the way, I don't work for Auth0, neither I'm an affiliate for them. I just think these days, there is so much competition in this industry, and you shouldn't waste your time reinventing the wheel. Instead of spending your time building infrastructure that already exists, spend it to turn your ideas into reality, into working software. So if you want to add authentication, go back and revisit section 4, where I talked about authentication using Auth0. All right, next, I'm going to finish this section with a discussion on deployment.